Welcome, everybody, to the Give It Podcast, the podcast for blurs, for nerds. If you have a fandom, you are most certainly welcome here. We are your hosts, the most Black Spartan, Tafari TV, and Show Guy Joe. How you guys doing? Joe, you're muted.
I thought Joe had a prior engagement. I thought he had to go and be beamed
up.
I
was going to ask, the convention was short?
5.
Uh-oh. Joe, can you hear us? Uh-oh. Joe, can you hear us?
And I'm Shogun Joe, who's just as strong as the Cerritos. But apparently as delayed as the time delayed is time warp.
We were wondering for a second if you could hear us.
That was a whole 5 minutes.
You were kind of just bouncing back and forth. It was like, can you hear us?
Hey man, look, StreamYard is using the Apple playbook. We're just gonna start using and breaking the free shit.
No, I hear
more money.
He might be hearing. We might be on a slight delay, so just give it about 5 seconds.
If he goes out and comes back in, does that fix it?
It might.
Everybody clap. Everybody clap.
Yep.
It's about
we're improving. Seconds. It's slightly improving. Oh, good God. Well, let's just go ahead and get into it. As you can see, guys, as we're trying to get synced, we are a little bit on the older side. So
to answer your original question.
Uh-huh.
So to answer your original question, I am general admission, so my con ends at 6:00.
Ah, damn. Well, at least you got a little. Oh, I got it. Well, we'll get to you momentarily about that because I got questions. But as you guys know, we do try to watch our language on the show, but let's be honest, words do fly. At the same time, guys, there may be things that might be shown that might be too intense for younger viewers. So if your discretion is advised, aside from that, welcome. So we unfortunately are going to be starting on some somber news because this week has been kind of rough. It's been a lot. It's been rough. But we first have to say our, rest in pieces because we've had a lot of individuals that have passed on. The first one we're going to talk about, it really hits hard about this one.
In trouble, aren't you, son?
With that one-of-a-kind baritone, James Earl Jones' unmistakable voice resonated with generations of fans.
People will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
A skilled and seasoned actor, Jones found great success in the theater, on film, and in television, overcoming racial barriers and a childhood stutter to become one of the most respected and sought-after talents of his time.
Because every time you push that pinched-up face in front of me, I see where it done got me.
He breathed life into characters that would become part of the cultural DNA.
You are more than what you have become. I take it back. You're not in trouble. You're dead where you stand.
His voice, the touchstone for a league of legendary films.
May I have your attention, please?
But perhaps his most iconic role came from a 2.5-hour voiceover session with Star Wars director George Lucas, cementing his place in cinematic history as Darth Vader.
I am your father.
Jones was born in rural Mississippi in 1931.
Being a farm kid, we always were encouraged to use our voices.
He found the stage at the University of Michigan and debuted on Broadway in 1957. His breakthrough Tony-winning performance came as boxing champ Jack Johnson in The Great White Hope. He made his film debut in Dr. Strangelove in 1965, paving the way for other Black actors and impacting many, including our own Al Roker.
I remember the first time I saw you acting, we saw Dr. Strangelove. I was in 4th grade, and I thought, wow, there's somebody who looks like me in the movies.
I know what you mean about identity. I got that role because I was Black, by the way. The idea was that Stanley Kubrick wanted a rainbow crew on that airplane.
From there, his undeniable talent and incredible work ethic earned him great success and accolades, but by all accounts, he remained humble and grateful.
It didn't have to do with success or fame or money. It had to do with experience.
Over the years, he was a frequent guest on Today, once weighing in on his childhood stutter.
You never get over it, really. You simply learn how to work around it.
Now, his death at 93 has friends, co-stars, and admirers reflecting on his legacy. Kevin Costner paid tribute to his Field of Dreams co-star, writing, "That booming voice, that quiet strength, the kindness that he radiated." Actor LeVar Burton writing, "There will never be another of his particular combination of graces." And Mark Hamill, best known for playing Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars films, writing simply, "R.I.P. Dad." James Earl Jones broke barriers and entertained generations of moviegoers. But what struck us in watching some of his old interviews and hearing from people who knew him is that he never took any of the fame or success for granted. And that undeniable talent earned him a coveted honor, what's known as the non-competitive EGOT. 2 Emmys, a Grammy, 2 Tonys, and an honorary Oscar. Absolutely impressive career. Back to you guys.
Wow.
So there's no other way to shake it, guys. However you knew him, whether it was Darth Vader, whether it was Mufasa, whether it was King Jeffrey Johns, whether it was, I can keep going down the line here. The man,
James Murphy.
Yeah, we can keep going. I mean, that just goes to tell you how long his list of accolades he's done. However, there is only other one accolade that he has done that only a certain night show host was able to pull off, and we would be remiss if we didn't play it.
Butter.
Yeah. Number 9.
Objects in mirror may be closer than they appear.
Number 8.
J-Lo in the house.
Number 7.
Click here now for the hottest sex sites on the web.
Number 6.
And the Academy Award for Best Picture goes to Dude, Where's My Car?
Number 5.
You're not fully clean until you're zestfully clean.
Number 4.
You mean I get all these great funk classics on just one CD or cassette?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Well, now wait a minute. The number 2 cool thing when spoken by James Earl Jones.
Meow, 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 meow.
And the number 1 thing that sounds cool when spoken by James Earl Jones.
What's up?
Top 10 things that sound cool.
Oh, only David Letterman could get James Earl Jones to say the top 10 things to be said by James Earl Jones. Only David Letterman could pull that off.
Using that clip.
Huh?
Said thank you for using that clip. I sent a lot of stuff over the week. I'm glad that got used.
Yeah, but definitely that. Again, and also, guys, feel free to add in as far as what anything else that we have not said about the legendary actor, because, like I said, his filming credits, movie credits, acting in the Tony acting, because he was memorable in Fences and Cat 10 on the Roof with Giancarlo Esposito. So what more can be said about this man except to, in my case, I would sit there and say, may he rest well within the force. But anything else you guys want to add to it?
Yeah, because 90s is a long life to live, so it's like I can't really be sad. But I mean, he did everything he wanted to do and overcame God knows how much from the era he was born into. So being my age, just met him as Mufasa, loved Joffrey, and respected the hell out of him as Vader.
Yep. What about
But
you,
he
Joe?
will still be Vader.
Oh yeah, the voice is still
he's still
there. His voice will be right.
He at least got that taken care of ahead of time. So
yeah,
that's more than likely royalties for the family for God knows how many generations after. So he at least was clever in taking care of that.
Yep. So there was that. So yeah, that's why at least we can sit there and say for future generations, his voice will be preserved. Say what?
I legitimately think he is one of the few actors that will truly be immortal because not because of Vader alone. I mean, Vader most definitely is going to help with that because I don't think Star Wars is going anywhere anytime soon for a very, very long time. But just like the roles he had are too iconic and too numerous to ever state.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go on forever, but like James Earl Jones is very much. I mean, I would have cast him as Black Panther if we could have, or King T'Chaka if we could have.
Oh yeah, King T'Chaka have been interesting.
Like I said, I think he's going to be one of the very few truly immortal actors of our time.
Agreed. But like I said, death usually comes in threes, or in this case, fours, because he wasn't the only one that we do have to say farewell to as well. We also have to say farewell to Emi Shinohara. For all those that don't know, she voiced Sailor Jupiter, the original Sailor Moon anime. She also voiced Naruto's mother in Kushina Uzumaki. There we go. In the Naruto series. She also passed away this week. Again, she's also being remembered, especially by her, I guess I could say her actor husband who voiced Minato on the series, also saying his respects to her as well. And not only her, like I said, death seems to be coming in threes today. I should say this week. Not only Emmy that passed away, also Peter Renaday. And for all those that don't know, or if you were not born between 85 and maybe 96, you may have never had the chance to watch the original Mutant Ninja Turtles. That man that you see right there actually was the original voice of Splinter in the series. He passed away at age 89. And also, again, I hate to wrap up this League of Death because apparently Death decided to go on a rampage. Famous, also a comic book artist, John Cassaday, also passed away. He was admitted to the hospital over the weekend due to unknown illnesses. Unfortunately, he did pass as well. He was also a part of Planetary Comics. He also did Astonishing X-Men, Star Wars. I'm missing a few other ones that he did. It's right in front of me. Desperados, I Am Legion, Captain America. And he's done many more. Famously known and well received in the comic book world. But we do want to give their flowers and also our gratitude and our peace and condolences out to their loved ones. But anything else we want to add to these rest in peace memorials, guys?
Man,
do we actually have death across all the geek mediums?
Close to it.
Movies, TV, writing, anime, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's close to it. Yeah. That's about right. Manga, comics, movies, television. Yeah, that was across the board.
And then we had Rich Homie Quan and Fat Man Scoop last week.
Yep. And I was about to get to that too in the world of hip hop. Between those two gentlemen have passed away. So yeah, 2024 is that's just at the beginning of September.
Just
kind of
September.
crappy. September is kind of crappy. I'm not gonna lie about that. Especially again, a lot of these deaths are definitely hitting home, but we still want to give their respect, their flowers, and of course, rest in power. But let's get also some happy. Let's do some happier news because
hold on. I do have a comedic thing to add to this though. With the death of Splinter's voice actor. I looked into how old everybody is supposed to be in that animated series. Who wants to guess how old Splinter is in the animated series? Based off his voice actor.
Of his voice acting?
But 13?
Based off his voice acting, how old do you think?
If you're saying if we're basing off the voice acting, then he sounds like a 40-year-old person with a mortgage.
He is 32. Splinter is 32 years old.
Oh, so I'm not that far off.
Okay.
Every time Splinter talked, he sounded like somebody that had a mortgage. He
sounds like Uncle Iroh, but he's 32.
I can't do tea on leaves right now. I can't.
Honestly, a lot of people didn't really see it, but because I think it was like a special they didn't advertise too much, and I only remember being on Nick and Cartoon Network like once, but they actually did a crossover special with the 2003 TMNT and the original, and it kind of served as a good wrap up to the show before they went to the future for like 3.5 seasons, which was just weird. But it was honestly, that's a good send-off.
Oh, yeah. TMNT Forever.
Yeah, if you've never watched that, and I think it's on Paramount Plus, which I don't buy, I just get Blu-rays. If you watch that, that's actually like a perfect send-off for both series. It's like Toy Story 3. You can just pretend nothing else came after this and call this the end.
Pretty much.
Watch the 2014 CGI team up with the 80s Turtles.
Did they have a?
It's a little bit better because the 80s. They did.
Okay.
It's a little bit better because they don't treat the 80s Turtles as complete idiots.
I need to give that a shot. I have to keep that in mind. But we might as well go ahead and get onto the trailers, guys, just because we need something happy. And this is a terrible segue. Nothing. I was gonna say Mortal Kombat and happiness really don't go hand in hand, but that thing.
What are you talking about? They got friendships.
You haven't seen one friendship in MK1 yet, and yet you have not seen a friendship in MK1. But we do actually have a new Sabat gameplay trailer.
Are you ready? I hope you are fond of chaos.
Do not try to make sense of it. Anything is possible in Havoc's domain.
Allow the Brotherhood of Chaos to help you on your way. Those who oppose anarchy, who revere order, will be eliminated.
You sound like Bihan.
Embrace chaos. Havoc filled my mind with his chaos. I have learned his thoughts, learned his combat.
This is what you are meant to do.
I am not allowed to desire a different future.
Your desires are not at issue. It is your methods for achieving them.
Havoc's will not be done.
The blood spilled today will be yours, not mine.
How are you alive?
Your new attire suits you. It is as black as your heart.
Watch and learn, Kuai Liang. Finish him.
Ah, come on.
Now, Tafara, I gotta agree with you. I don't know how you were alive when you got kicked from both sides in the head, but let's be honest, it's Mortal Kombat.
Well, they showed the skull fragments just going like in different.
Oh, it's simple. It's in the trailer.
I'm just.
It's
Jesus.
in the trailer.
And then
Chaos.
who was the girl he was fighting? Was that a new character too? Or is she part of the story?
That's the girl he's fighting. That's a new character. I can't remember her name right now. But she's fighting.
Yeah, the chick he was fighting who had a.
That's Tanya? The second girl is Tanya?
Yeah, it's Tanya. That is a different version of Tanya.
Okay, I was like, I haven't seen it roll out for her yet, or if she's just in the story by itself.
Well,
that's that's the chaos realm of Tanya, or a multiversal Tanya.
Okay.
But still, the one thing I will say about these trailers, about MK trailers, I will say this. I like the fact you are blending story and trailer and action together, but I'm not gonna lie, less is a little bit more. Like, we don't need to know the animality. I want to be surprised to see what the animality is when I'm playing versus in the trailer, you go right into it. That's the one thing, don't get me wrong. Mortal Kombat has great trailers, but again, less is more. You don't have to show everything the character can do. But I mean, it could be just my opinion. What do you guys
feel like we know what the animality is?
Huh?
I kind of feel like we know what the animality is just from the opening. The two gators are going to wishbone the dude.
Well, he doesn't want to know what the animal is going to be in general. He wants to be completely surprised. Whereas, I feel like had they cut it off just before the bite, you
don't want to know what the animal. I thought.
Yeah.
Right. What Tafara said, not knowing what the animal is. Like, we know at this point everybody's got an animality. What I'm saying is, I don't want to know the creature until I'm playing. That's what I'm saying. But again, I'm still not complaining. I can't wait to actually play MK1. Like I said, it's still in my backlog of things to get because old boys got responsibilities. But I mean, what are we thinking, guys? Is New Sabat worth giving a look at, or is it a pass?
I think if you're an old school MK fan, you'll like this new version of Noob Sci-Fi because they've been around for a while. Also, for Homelander, who gets the eagle animality? Does that go to Homelander or to Peacemaker?
That's a good question. I would say Homelander. I would say Peacemaker because Peacemaker would be too easy because of Eagly. It's too easy.
But he already has an eagle, so maybe give it to Mr. America.
So Homelander would probably be the eagle, or very twisted Condor.
One of the two.
Yeah, one of the two. I say a very twisted Condor, but we do have some Dragon Ball news. But before we do get to that Dragon Ball news, we got to talk about this really quickly because I'll give credit to Joe on this. I'll give credit to Tafari on this because this was called a long time ago. And what I'm talking about, guys, is the PS5 Pro. If you saw the announcement earlier this week, the technical demonstration, if you will, which is basically just a code word for saying, hey, we're going to sell a PlayStation 5 Pro. It's going to have 2 terabytes of data. No, it does not come with a disc. It does not come with a optional disk drive. Yes, it is going to cost you $700. We've upgraded the technology because all you guys are complaining that you can't play at 60 frames per second, and now you can. And people are still complaining. But the crazy part about this is when you look at the hardware, and Joe has said this, I have said this, Tafari has said this, the only thing you're paying for is upgraded graphics. I mean, technically, you really can't tell ray tracing and 60 frames per second on a console. A console can only push out as much as the hardware can. And I'm going to be very honest with you. On a PC, you can probably tell a difference. But on a console, I'm sorry, you can't.
So, actually, I can. If you put Spider-Man in 60 or 30, you can very much tell a difference until your eyes get used to it. But you actually can, upon initiating either the 30 or the 60, you can tell the difference.
So the pictures they showed, because they try to show Spider-Man, they showed Spider-Man 2 side by side. And I should have actually brought up the demonstration video on YouTube. But when I was looking at it, it's like it's the same thing. Because don't get me wrong, some people who don't have PS5s, you may have just been waiting for the Pro. If you're waiting for the Pro, okay, good on you. That's what you're waiting for. But for anyone else that has a PS5, it's just like, what other reason are you giving me outside of the fact that you're saying it's 2 terabytes, but you have a bay for extended storage to where somebody like me will just go take a 4 terabyte or a 2 terabyte SSD, install it, and I have all the space I need for the PS5.
Right, I got one sticking out mine's sticking out the back of mine right now.
So it's just like, what's the point outside of those that don't have it? However, the other part of this, which is go you say, Joe?
8K resolution. That's what they're really pushing.
But here's the thing. That to me sounds like get this while you can, because the craziest thing about this is they did announce also later that day, the disk drive that's available for PS5 digital and slims will also be able to use on the PS5s. So now scalpers are looking at this and going, are we basically doing last year all over again? Mr. Final Max, funniest thing about this, if you look at the PlayStation player base, it's mostly PS4 users. Yeah.
I don't blame any of you.
He's right. But
I said when Spider-Man comes out and they're probably going to release a special edition console with slightly better upgrades on it, I'll jump ship. And that's exactly what happened. I don't need anything else. And I think you can still get the the WD Black. You could just install into the PS5. You get an extra 2 terabytes.
Yeah, I have that. It's fantastic.
You can bump it up to you can do anywhere, right? Technically, the SSD that's in there, you can use. Really, you can use Seagate, you can use Western Digital Black, you can use Samsung's 8050. Any one of those is fine. I recommend a heatsink just because right now they're on the cheap side. But think about that for a second.
Seagate's on discount during either Cyber Monday or Black Friday is usually where I catch in. So I got, I think, a 1 terabyte or a 2 terabyte. I went to the PS4, transferred right to the 5 just fine. The WD Black I know is you actually got to it's like a chip you got to install into the PS5 itself. But even then the shell comes off for that. So, and that's only because I feel like Xbox does memory a lot better than PlayStation, because with them you gotta move mountains to get certain stuff on here, which is why I needed the external. Whereas my 1 terabyte on the Xbox One is, I've thrown almost everything on it and it's still doing just fine.
But here's the crazy part, because the Xbox, like the Xbox Series X, you can connect an external hard drive instead of getting that flimsy pull apart 2 terabyte
weird
thing. Yeah. I'd rather just go ahead and get a 3 terabyte or 4 terabyte drive that's like less than $200. Plug it straight to your Xbox, you're good to go. But this is the reason why I say PlayStation is going to be dirty about it, because you had a surplus of disk drives, optional disk drives for those that want to have a disc, that want to have to be able to play physical media on those PlayStations. Now that you've taken that away, you basically sat there and said, okay, the PS5 Pro can do that too. So now all those scalpers are now about to head to PlayStation.com and pretty much buy up stock, only to turn around and resell at higher value. So it's like the PS5 all over again.
Is anybody even gonna get those though? Like, I don't see enough people outside of like actual gamers and Let's Players who just want to make sure they're keeping up with the times and can put out the best content possible. Which I understand. Even then, it's probably going to be a tax write-off for you. Which, by all means, get it how you live. But even then, like, how many people are going to be buying this that they need to buy a disk drive and they're no longer in stock? Because I don't say this often, but I hope it flops. Like you're a company whose one of the main selling points of one of your entire consoles was that it doubles as a family DVD player.
Yeah. But that's the thing though. That's the question I have. Like the only reason I say that is like it must be for those that really want a PS5 Pro, or like Joe said, they want 8K graphics, or just want to be able to play at 60 frames per second. Because I'm sorry, I mean, I waited on PS5 before I dropped my 400 and some odd change to get a PS5. Now, and I've said this before, when consoles start getting into $700 territory, at that point, I'm just building another PC. Because at that point, I'm sorry. If you're going to be spending $700 on a console, just take $500, build a budget gaming PC, get a Steam or a Valve, get a EA or a Ubisoft account, enjoy your games that way. Your money's going to be very well spent that way anyway.
I think 700 you can get a pre-made tower, and that's how much, with how hard parts have been to get since COVID, and I think still are.
Yeah.
They've been they're moving more towards just pre-builds, and I think that's how much my brother paid for his, and it runs just fine.
Yeah, and again, if this is all going to PC, cool. We'll all just join the PC master race at this point. But again, like I said, can't see the reason why PS5 Pros. I can see the digital discs being sold off because again, I wanted one just because I got a digital version because the only thing around. But I also want to get the disc drive because I like playing disc games. I really do. Sony never really learned from Neo Geo. No, they did not. Mr. Filemax, no, they did not. The Neo Geo was a great system that they overpriced it out of existence. And it had great titles too. That's the sad part. But moving on, Dragon Ball, because again, we got another Sparking Zero trailer. And the character list just seems to keep on filling up.
My name isn't Kakarot. Now I'm mad. It was you against the universe. See ya.
Really though, my size has nothing to do with this. I'm stronger than I've ever been.
Grandpa, you totally forgot about me, didn't you? Kiru, help me out.
Done in the trailer, but not in the game.
They keep doing that.
I need to keep my head on the game, or I'm gonna get left in the dust. Finally, I have the perfect body to exact my revenge. Fight between men, huh? That's what's going on. Let's keep fighting till one of us taps out. Die, scum! Before you die, I'll show you the difference between the evolved Topple race and the primitive power of the Saiyans. Molecule by molecule, no, atom by atom, I will tear you apart and scatter your remains to the stars.
You won't get away with this, baby! With the power I gained from Boo, I will take you down!
He's playing one of the Gamblers and
Grandpa?
You better be ready. I'm feeling pretty strong right now. Sorry to tell you this, but there's too much of a power gap between you and me.
I will rule the universe!
I can taste your fear. It is very sweet. I can feel the terror that this bridal body accentuates.
Times 10?
Well then, your punishment for abusing the Dragon Balls will be extinction. I stand above all other Shadow Dragons as the mighty One Star.
Dragon Fist! Explosion!
Useless! Behold, as I reduce all of reality into nothingness.
Won't scum like you get away with this?
All of your struggles are meaningless in the face of the Dragon Ball's combined power.
You mean there's just someone stronger than me? Let's fuse, Kakarot. This is going to be special. I can feel it. Fusion! wrap up this show.
We've reached the finale. You've resisted until the very end.
Let's go! Ultra Big Bang! Begin! Kamehameha!
Everyone in the universe, let's do this!
All right. So, guys, that was the GT official trailer for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And just to go back a step, what we thinking, fellas? Because the spaces are slowly disappearing.
I can't tell. Is that up at the very top with the arrow? Is that an empty slot, or is that just saying, "Hey, these are all your characters"?
I think that's just an arrow saying these are your characters.
I think that's the DLC slot for Gogeta Super, and the bottom one's supposed to be the slot for Super Broly.
Wait, aren't they already on? I feel like they're already on. I know they're DLC, but aren't they somewhere on this roster already?
Well, Broly's right there. Broly's right there.
DLC Super Broly or big or normal Broly?
That's Super Broly right there.
No, that's Kale.
No, Kale's right here. That's
No.
Broly.
That's
her transformation. The transformations have their own slots.
Yeah, so that is Super Saiyan Kale, and then the one next to her is Super Saiyan 2 Kale.
Yeah, right there next to the empty slot in the middle. Though,
there's normal cauliflower, and there's Kefla.
Next to the empty slot, never mind. That's Evolution Blue. I see it now. I could have sworn maybe the DLC slots haven't filled it. I hope that's not including them, because if so, then we only have like 3 other slots left, which maybe that's gonna get.
No, we have 10 slots.
Well, then who else on the pre-order? You get like Gogeta, Base, Super, Blue, Broly. Yeah. So if 6 or 7 of those slots are for this, then we have 3 people that were just, which 4. I don't know if we can.
But wouldn't they already be here? But they're already here though.
Here, 2 over on the top. We have 3 on the second row.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle row, we have 1 in the middle, 2 off to the side, 3 here, and then 4 there.
You still got 10 slots. It's going to be interesting. I will say this: it is really going to be interesting what the next ones are. But
hold
like I
on,
said,
bring that back up. There's still something interesting we're not discussing.
What's that?
We're missing a key boss from GT.
Yeah, Super 17 wasn't in there.
And neither is Nova Shenron, and those 2 are always in the game.
I was surprised we didn't get a full-on Shenron roster for this, or at least the more ones who seem combat ready.
But we have to keep in mind it's a trailer. They still may be a part of the fighter list. They may not be included in the trailer.
Well, apparently the full list or amount of characters got leaked, but thankfully I dodged all that stuff today, and for everything else we're going to talk about. But
does he go on the list?
I don't know. They just said, hey, here's how many characters are in the base game total. I don't think we're getting trailers for all of them. And then I stopped reading and kept scrolling. I had not interested and just kept going.
So it still might. I'm sorry, Joe, go ahead.
We got a month? So that means there's still a possibility for manga stuff. So that would mean we still have Dragon Ball characters, because we don't have like Tao Pai Pai, we don't have Ninja Murasaki, Classic Goku, Classic King Piccolo, maybe young Yamcha, young Tien.
Yeah.
Then we still have
there's that.
Yeah, General Blue. Who
and
else?
Then for the manga, we don't have. If we're going the manga, we don't have Morrow. We don't have anybody from the Galactic Prisoner arc. We don't have anybody from the Granola arc.
Yeah.
Which would be Granola and maybe Gas.
The heaters,
Black Frieza.
See, that just makes me think they're holding out. I think they're holding out.
We don't have the Gammas.
So,
Wait,
we
do we have
one
the
of their,
Gammas?
we got one of their voice actors.
We got one of their voice actors, but not them yet.
But not the guy. That's why I feel like the next thing might be Super, because GT has officially beat the DLC allegations. So
right, but also the other trailer
that means we'll have the
guys,
Super movies, because then that would mean
So I'm curious if it's going to be
Mellow Yellow Piccolo.
Yeah,
Disco Han.
He could be a giant
and the
character,
Gammas.
and then possibly Baby Pan, since they're specifying her as GT.
But this is why I'm saying that I think they're holding off. Like the characters that people are looking for, because I can guarantee if I went back to the YouTube page and looked down at the comments, probably all those names got pulled up, and everybody's asking why are they not included, because this is quite the Fighters roster. But like I said, in my opinion, I think they're holding out just to see because this is just to make sure everything's smooth, because October 11th is not that far away. I mean, today's the 13th, so we're less than a month away from it.
Yeah.
So maybe, just maybe, we're probably gonna get some surprises closer to release date. But
And somebody said the worst thing about the trailers are the words "music not included in final game."
oh yeah, that part. Of course they're gonna do that.
Which I'm so shocked, because they can reach to the depths and pull some of these characters out the grave. We can't, like, the songs that have been like associated with these platforms for so long, we can't get in the final mix.
I mean, one would think.
I don't think that has to do with the consoles. I think that just has to do with with music licensing.
Well, music licensing copyrights, because they love our channel. But anyway, Dragon Ball Dynama actually has a newish trailer, and Safari actually has some news after it. Some news to go along with it. But first,
yeah, Dragon Ball has a show coming out, guys. I don't know if anybody remembered. They don't seem to.
It's the same day as Sparking.
Is it really?
The 11th.
Rest in peace.
Dragonball を使うか。恐れるものは全ていなくなりました。そろそろね。
さあ、やってやるぞ。
俺はグロリオ、頼みがある。
パンチだ。よろしく。パンパカパン。なんか面白そうだな。
ジャカジャンさゆきファンバレー全開やべえバトルワクワクが止まらないねシェンロン粘り構えて明日もすっげえやつ
You think they would do just as much promo for this as they have been doing for Sparking Zero, and it's just weird that they haven't?
Yeah, it is kind of odd that this is kind of a low-key, just not getting a lot of hype after it. But, I mean, it's a different story. And the one thing is, don't get me wrong, I know Super's going to get another story eventually, another arc eventually, but I would give this a shot just because it's different.
I'm gonna watch it, but I'm just saying, for being like the biggest IP in the world, how do you like not talk about this? Like Sparking, with all the hype people have had for Sparking Zero, how do you not follow each trailer we've got with like some news for this? Because right now it's just like people just like, by the way, y'all know there's a TV show coming out at the same time as Sparking, right? And people keep forgetting, but it's. I don't know, especially with how protective they are of this IP. It's weird they're not like pushing it. Also, the whole Demon Realm thing, it looks a little Sandland-ish, and kind of looks like a blend
because they don't want pushback that this is GT version 2.0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And apparently, it's sandwiched between I think the manga stuff and the end of Super. So
Oh yeah, they put out the official timeline.
does Diamond take place before or after all the Granola?
So it goes the Buu Saga, Daima, Yo Son Goku friends are back. So that one where they fight Avocado and he fuses, and we get introduced to Turbo.
Yeah, it was so
Then
weird.
Dragon Ball Battle of the Gods.
So it's sandwiched
Well,
in
you know
between
what
arcs.
they did with Turbo to make him like more popular, right?
Right. So they sandwiched it between arcs.
Well, I know they mentioned
between
him
the
in
Buu Saga and the OVA Yo Son Goku and friends are back.
Gotcha.
It's so weird that they just never dubbed that, but they went back to do the One Piece and Toriko crossover, and only the first half of it because I guess nobody wants to touch Toriko anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think the guy behind it did some weird stuff and they dropped it, but still, it was a 2-part special and they only did the second half, which is odd. But that Yo Son Goku, what was the other one they gave it with the video game? Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans. Both were like decent things, and they just never gave them like an English run at all. But if Daima is
the reason for the Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans is that was like a FMV game that had multiple endings.
Right.
Okay.
But when they made which was honestly the best one for a while till Sparking or till Xenoverse, when they made what was it? Not Burst Limit. Raging Blast 2. I think it came with like a free upgraded version of that movie, and they just kind of turned it into an upscale film.
Yeah, because Hachijack was because Hachijack was like the big get for that game.
Yeah, and then they basically just made it like a one-shot movie. And I'm like, why didn't y'all ever just like, y'all could make a DVD and call it the We Forgot to Dub It Special and just put those 3 on there. But yeah, that and like it's so this is after Z because I was curious if how like Whis can't just rewind 3 minutes and fix all of this.
So even that's kind of weird because it's not after Z.
Mm-hmm.
Because after Z technically hasn't happened yet.
All right. This is during that 5-year gap still.
Yeah. But Tafari, what was the news? Because I know you had some news you want to follow up with time after this.
It's so weird. I think that. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
No, so apparently it hasn't been confirmed, but she's been accepting a lot of collab posts, and either she knows what she's doing or has no idea what those mean on Instagram. But they might be bringing back Stephanie, who was the original voice actor for Kid Goku and Gohan for Daima, which it's all rumor mills, but she hasn't said anything. And it was weird because when me and Ozzy asked her, she's just like, I don't think I'm ever getting that phone call again. So, and we were just like, why not? And I know Crunchyroll and Funimation have always had this thing about y'all use the same 5 actors for everything. And y'all are not really beating the allegations because none of the people y'all have used are bad. But it's just like, why did we have a new person do Kid Vegeta? And now when you play Kakarot, Kid Vegeta is now Deku.
Right.
Like
although that does wind up being true, I am not going to complain about that.
I hope it is, but it's just like, if you have her, why have you not been using her this whole time? It's not like she's not been going to conventions with this as her character. Like, again, dude is cool, and I think he's great as Hawks in My Hero, but why did you bring back the original voice actor for for Xenoverse, but now...
It's just I'll put it this way. It's just like Tara Strong never playing a real-life Harley Quinn. She has the face and the body for it, and yet she's never played in the movie. Same thing.
At least they come back for her in an animated fashion. They just, when it comes to the kid voices, they seem to go through the randomizer because it's like, if we're going to use a Kid Goku, that's fine. I like her as Luffy, but like, if Stephanie's been able to do this the whole time, why have you been using Colleen for Fighters, for Xenoverse? Like, and then it feels like we're using a different actor every time for these characters. Because, like, I think the dude who does Hawks in My Hero was cool, but why is he playing Oob when Oob was just Oob in Xenoverse, and now he's playing Oob and Gamma, either Gamma 1 or Gamma 2. And then even with the dude who, if you listen to the Broly movie, we had a Kid Vegeta who sounded like a Kid Vegeta, and now it's just Deku reading Kid Vegeta lines, which great actor by far, but now it's literally just Deku from My Hero in Vegeta's body. It's so damn weird when it's like you had the people who could do the original voices this entire time and just haven't used them. Why?
It's almost as if it's just it's almost that they just want to use, just for some odd reason, want to be different when you literally have the working formula right there.
Like, if you wanted to distinct Kid Goku and Gohan, I can understand that. But then making her the Colleen do all the game voices for Kid Goku and GT Goku is just, I don't know. And again, she does great as Luffy. She did a good job.
Stephanie from the Ocean dub, or
this is the
Stephanie's from.
Stephanie's from the main old school dub.
Yeah,
like that's Ocean dub.
Not the Ocean. The Funimation. So the original Funimation dub, and then when they did Kai, they replaced Stephanie with Colleen, and we were just like, okay, if you just want to change Kid Gohan,
right?
That's fine. But then when they started putting Kid Goku and GT Goku into video games, it was also Colleen. It's like, well, now it's not the distinction, but why aren't y'all calling Stephanie?
Oh, no, I know why.
What?
Because they voice acting rules. Actually, I just learned this today, and I think you can pretty much look it up. A voice actor can be paid for one job, voicing up to 3 characters.
Ooh.
So if they pretty much like the Ozawa, where she does Gohan, Goku, Goten, they only pay her once. She does 3 characters.
So she gets screwed.
If they go with Colleen as opposed to Stephanie, they only got to pay Colleen once because she's doing Kid Gohan and Kid Goku, as opposed to paying 2 separate people.
So you're getting screwed either way.
I think it's up to 3 people. I can go ask tomorrow since I'm going to be around voice actors a whole bunch. But I'm pretty sure, like it was said, like 3. They have a maximum of 3 people. Then they have to pay them more.
See, that still sounds like a screw job. But
yeah, because they always had that, like those, like the boys club allegations of like they use whenever the Funimation or Crunchyroll they have like a set list of people they use for almost every show, and it's like I like these people, but it's like, yeah, you have other people who can reprise these roles. Why are you just? Because now I'm just hearing the other character they play just voicing over this other character that they normally don't, and I don't dislike them for it. It just seems like a decision I don't understand.
It's like I said, I'm hoping for good thing. I'm hoping for it, but we will definitely see. But before we get on to the next trailer, guys, really quickly, yes, Microsoft has laid off another 650 people from the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Let's be honest, Microsoft was only interested in the IPs. They were not really interested in keeping the people. That just goes with the territory. And Destiny did announce that their next expansions, codenamed Apollo and Behemoth, will have updates. Apollo will be first this summer of 2025 and fall of 2025. So actually in about a month or so, we're going to be seeing another expansion from Destiny. Here's the beauty part. It's free. When guys like me who are paying $60 to $100 for an expansion, we're going to get that for free. The next year, which is codenamed Behemoth, also for the updates in the winter and the spring. Again, free. So I'm not sure what's going on with Destiny right now. I'm assuming that again, this is after the final shape, which was great. But the fact that they are moving forward with these free expansions, I'm just curious about the story, especially what they've done with the Conductor. Not going into that arc just because if you haven't played Destiny or you are playing Destiny right now and you are playing that episode Echoes, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm just saying, whoever is running Bungie right now, you've got the right idea. That's all I'm saying. But moving forward with our first of our last two trailers, The Legend of Zelda's Echoes of Wisdom. We actually got an overview trailer from Nintendo, and I'm gonna be honest, after watching this, I'm more inclined to actually play this now.
Is this the top-down Zelda one?
And the captain's online. Hey, sir.
What's happening? I was in the middle of the Lego build.
All right, you got the
you're good.
I'm doing the Starship right now. I'm not doing the Falcon yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. Now we were just about to review the trailer for Legend of Zelda, sir. But before I do, let's see. What did we covered a lot. Anything that you want to cover as far as us saying rest in peace to James Earl Jones, which I know we kind of did on Blurred's Eye View, but in case you want to add anything else that we talked about tonight?
A masterful legend at work cannot be replaced in many forms, whether it's stage, screen, or voice acting. I can still, the fact that he had a stutter.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's a scene, and I think that's RV, that it's him and Robin Williams, and he does the stutter.
Yeah.
Like, is it the Fuji or the Fujitsu? And I'm like, and in that scene alone, I'm like, damn, there's two great people gone. But yeah, he'll definitely be missed, but he left his impression amongst millions in different genres.
Fair enough. All right. So with that being said, guys, let's look at the overview for Legend of Zelda's Echoes of Wisdom.
When Link is stolen away, it's up to Princess Zelda to save her kingdom in a brand new entry in the Legend of Zelda series. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. This sprawling, vibrant land is Hyrule. In the middle of a great field sits Hyrule Castle, surrounded by Hyrule Castletown. This land contains several different regions, including a desert, wetlands, a volcano, and sparkling waters, all of which are inhabited by their own distinct denizens. Mysterious rifts have appeared, tearing the land apart and swallowing up its inhabitants, including the King of Hyrule and Link. Left behind, Zelda meets an ethereal creature called Tri, who gives her a mysterious staff called the Tri-Rod. They then set off on a journey to save Hyrule. Using the Tri-Rod, you can create imitations of things called echoes. Once you learn an echo, you can recreate it whenever you'd like. You can create echoes of useful objects, such as beds, or create echoes of monsters that'll fight by your side. There's a wide range of echoes, and a variety of ways you can put them to use. From finding imaginative paths forward, to fighting your way across the land of Hyrule. Another ability granted by Tri is called Bind. Use it to make certain objects match Zelda's movement. Alternatively, you can use Reverse Bond on a moving object to follow its path. Whether you're moving an object or moving with one, you're bound to come up with all sorts of ideas if you let your imagination run wild. Zelda can also take on Sword Fighter form, allowing her to forge ahead when the path is blocked, strike down enemies, or battle alongside echoes. However, she can only stay in Sword Fighter form for a short period of time. How you choose to wield this power is up to you. The sword's gauge can be replenished by collecting energy found in the still world. Zelda can also make use of wind-up gizmos called automatons. Try combining everything at your disposal to discover strategies and ways forward you might not have considered before. Zelda's wisdom and your creativity are the keys to this adventure. You'll come across many quirky characters during your travels. Keep track of quests they give you by browsing your adventure log whenever you'd like. Helping people with their troubles is a big part of your journey. And wise heroes are often rewarded for their good deeds. To aid you on these quests, you can ride a horse, make smoothies with ingredients you've collected, and obtain accessories or outfits to enhance Zelda's abilities, and to look fashionable, obviously. By stepping into the rifts to save those who have been stolen away, Zelda can explore the still world. She'll have to use echoes to traverse eerie, floating terrain as she ventures into this world's deepest depths. Massive dungeons can also be found in the still world. Zelda will use her wisdom and echoes to take on enemies and puzzles that stand in her way. Then, confront challenging bosses who await her arrival. You'll need to use everything at your disposal to take on these foes, but the strategy is yours to devise. The still world can be accessed through rifts scattered across Hyrule, and each entry point leads to a location with its own defining features. During her journey, Zelda must overcome dungeons within the rifts and the mysteries they hold. Without Link or the King of Hyrule, Hyrule's fate rests squarely in Zelda's hands. On this grand adventure, it's up to Zelda to use her wisdom and save the Kingdom of Hyrule as only she can. The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Available September 26th, only on the Nintendo Switch system. Pre-orders are available now on Nintendo eShop. Nintendo Switch Online members can save on this game with Nintendo Switch game vouchers. The Nintendo Switch Lite Hyrule Edition system is also available for pre-order and will launch September 26th.
All right, so that was the overview, guys, for Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, and also shameful plug for another Switch Lite that you may or may not want to get. What are we thinking, fellas? Outside the fact that, well, Zelda is basically fighting like Link. I do like the fact it's creative, that, or as Joe called it, the wand of Xerox that you can just copy. You can copy things, so that does make it interesting that you can copy monsters, you can copy objects. So it's like Pokemon, Fortnite, and a little bit of Shadows of Mordor all in one game. But
it's a chibi version of Tears of the Kingdom, because I think that whole make anything out of anything concept is what they introduced, and I think they just don't want to let it go now.
Pretty much.
It's a good look.
It's Tears of the Kingdom, but in what is it? Not Wind Waker. It was the Game Boy one.
The Four Sails? I'm sorry, the Four Swords? Hey, lady.
No, not Four Swords. Original Game Boy.
Link to the,
Original Game Boy.
A Link to the Past?
I was going to say, I was going to say that at least the viewpoint gives you the original look that it had on Nintendo. That bird's eye view look, but it looks fun.
Oh, Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening.
Thank you, Mr. Bonomax.
It definitely looks fun. It looks hours of fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that completionist type level to it. It's just have fun with it. I like a game where you gotta figure stuff out, like puzzle style.
I mean, it does look good though. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does look good. But yeah, come September 26th. Lainey, I know that you're watching, so I already know you said you pre-ordered this. You and me are both Zelda fans, so I already know you've already pre-ordered this. So, but yeah, it looks good. So the last trailer that we have, guys, before we get into our comic book pulls, because there's not a lot from the state of wrestling, just because the bloodline is everywhere, and there are some wrestlers right now that are being mysteriously let go for various reasons. But we'll go into that when we have more information. But Venom: The Last Dance. More information came out with this final trailer, and we'll get into it after we play. Basically play the trailer.
Yeah, I've actually been avoiding.
Wait, what do you say, Tafar?
I've actually been avoiding this one, so this ought to be interesting.
Cool. Here we go.
I'm with you to the end.
This is your captain speaking. If you look out to your left, you'll see a beautiful view of the Grand Canyon.
Oh, you make a fly!
Oh, the sun grows
Crush! You're not going to like this.
No, I can absolutely guarantee you I'm gonna.
My home has found us.
Who sent that thing?
My creator.
Of course.
Now that I've lost everything to you.
The symbiotes didn't come here by accident. They were running.
From what?
But then a lot of nice things turn bad out there.
What's his name then?
No! We have something he needs. As long as Venom lives, everything will end.
What are we doing?
We need a disguise.
Hey, man. Why'd you keep knocking people out? What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
Oh, baby, baby, it's a while.
We've come a long way, you and me. We are strong.
This world can't survive if you stay together.
Oh, baby, baby, it's a while.
But I need him. You're bad people.
Yeah, we are.
I always remember you.
There comes a time in every man's life where you have to make a sacrifice.
Eddie, I'm with you to the end.
I always remember you.
No, this is all the money that we have.
What is this feeling? It's like
this feeling?
It's like all of my problems have gone away. No!
I think you broke my foot.
Eddie, I need more money.
Well, guys, that was the trailer, the final trailer for Venom: The Last Dance. As you can see, will be in theaters October 25th. So, round table, what are we thinking? Is it, keep in mind, we all know that Venom was probably Sony's I won't say successful, but moderately successful franchise, because pretty much everything else has pretty much crapped out and died.
Yeah.
But
don't worry, you still got Craven.
Don't
do that. Don't be that guy.
That's just DOA on. That's just DOA about as far as Craven the Hunter.
My dad's actually excited for it because he has Craven comics, and I don't know how to tell him.
Damn.
Don't be that.
Learn as we've learned.
He must suffer. He must suffer as we've suffered.
Yes.
He too must become steel.
But no, I mean, the one thing I will take away from this is the fact that they are semi doing the King in Black story, because you're introducing Null, which again, for all those that don't know, is the creator. Say what? What you say, Joe?
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
Wait, why is Null a problem?
I mean, technically his story.
Well,
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
No, bring up the actual story. Why there's a problem with this?
I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that for people to find out. Sometimes some research is needed because I'm not gonna spoil that. But I will say if you've never read the King in Black series, highly recommend that
that's
you do.
not what I mean.
Well, I know what you're talking about, but I'm gonna let them find that. But I'm just saying from the King in Black side, this is why I'm saying a little bit of the elements from Last Dance is gonna make this work. Now, is it worth going to go see? I say yes. Just because, let's be honest, Tom Hardy is probably the best interpretation of Eddie Brock we're ever going to get. Even though Venom's character, let's be honest, he's lovable. They've actually made an anti-hero. And this is the reason why I say Sony will keep on trying, because they saw Venom, who's anti, and you made him a hero to a certain aspect. You made him lovable. So now they're going to try to do that for every other character, which is why, unfortunately, Kraven is not going to make it. But I know I'm definitely going to go watch it, guys. But what say y'all? Is it worth watching in the theaters, or just waiting for it to come to DVD like Borderlands?
I'll watch it. I still have no idea what the hell is going on. Like, I hope it's not the same damn symbiote chasing them the whole movie. Like, especially if we're getting all those meteors are different symbiotes. Because didn't we? Mm-hmm. Isn't one of them from the first movie still on the loose?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they actually have. They've shown Lasher in like some interview. So
yeah,
one of the Green Life Foundation symbiotes is there.
Yep.
And then the
are
cop
we really not going to run that?
The cop who got like mutant powers in the last one is.
I don't think we're continuing with that story.
I will tell you this. What you just mentioned, I don't expect any kind of completion from it. Will I go see this in movie theaters? Yes, only because this has, out of the entire outside of Spider-Man, this has been the only Spider-Man tiered character that's been successful. I don't even want to say moderately successful. It's been successful. It was a surprise hit. The first one was a surprise hit. So they hit lightning. And they managed to do it twice already. So they're just like, hey, just ride that wave. Let's finish this one out. But I cannot say the same about anything else outside of Spider-Man being, and I mean Peter and Miles being successful. Not to that level, not to the Venom level.
But see, that's the thing, though. I agree with you. And this is why I say I'm also fearful, because they may look at this and go, wait a minute. If this is successful, let's just bring him back and give him a whole other trilogy again, which kind of spoils the fact that you're kind of wrapping up a story, a Venom arc of his own. So I do what I want to see. Do I want to see Venom and Spider-Man in a movie? Absolutely. I do want to see that story get told. I just think that Sony's not the right vehicle for it. It never is. But that's my fear. Like, I am definitely going to go see The Last Dance. I want to see how this all shapes up. I want to see how Noel gets introduced. I think Norman Reedus is casted to play Noel. Now that I think about it,
it is.
So I'm curious to see what they do, because, again, it's Sony. They don't know when to give up. They don't. But
I would just want to go see, out of morbid curiosity, I just want to see if he gets the White Spider somehow.
Yeah, see.
That'd be interesting.
I feel like if they do, I feel like he would randomly just put it on after seeing Peter on TV for 5 seconds. Like, I can see that being Sony's level of input on, and there's the marks you all asked for.
See, that's the thing. And again, if they do that, do it in proper taste. That's all I'm saying. It's just that with Sony, like I said, when you had Carnage, when you literally had one of Venom's most, I won't say enemies, but let's be honest, you had one of his most infamous characters based out of his history, and you, of course, Woody Harrelson, he played an all right Cassidy, but
he was great.
Say what?
I liked him as Cassidy.
He did a great job. It's just a bad movie.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
It's a popcorn movie.
that's what I'm getting at. It's like you had a guy who could do a great Cassidy. It's like I said, it's how the movie was directed. You know, Carnage was supposed to be
the movie really should have been Natural Born Killers with Carnage and Venom.
Yes, fully agree. I fully agree with that.
Like even the whole "it's a red one," they just never explained that at all. They just made that one comment. It was just like, and fight scene.
Oh, completely bypassed it. He's like, that's a red one. That's like I've
There's
always
an
never seen
R-rated
that
cut of that movie out there somewhere, and we're not seeing it.
Yeah,
right there with Batgirl.
Same with
right there with.
No, like,
Wait, say. I'm sorry. Do you say?
no, I just feel bad with what's going on with this movie already. They already got problems.
The Last Dance even feels like a weird selection for a name.
I do it will be The Last Dance for Eddie Brock, and then they'll pass that symbiote on to some. Venom will continue on with somebody else because there are multiple Venom users.
Right.
They connected the Spider-Verse with the hive mind and the ending scene in Carnage being the payoff, which I'm curious if we're talking about his creator, if they're going to tie in the Black Sword from Eternals at any point. Because supposedly that was supposed to link to it.
It was, but it's a certain character.
Well,
if they do a certain character, a certain
The
character
way he
links to the
killed
Black.
Maul in the comics was combining the symbiote with the Silver Surfer sword and Mjolnir into a giant god-killing axe.
Pretty much.
Which was awesome.
And we know we're not getting that.
No.
So
What were you gonna say, Chris?
No, I was saying I know we're not, and I know we all know we're not getting that. That's
never gonna happen.
That's a pipe dream.
True. I mean, you're 100% right. Although it'd be great if we did, but again, it's Sony. Sony's striking out on everything from PlayStation to movies. So again,
let's put it like this: they're a step above Warner Brothers right now.
True, that is true. Although Warner Bros. Could release Batgirl and actually restore our faith, I'm just saying, Zaslav. But
That's not what
at this point, what do you got to lose?
That is not what we want released. We want Coyote acting versus Coyote.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? Both. I'll even go as far as say both, because Coyote versus Acme, I still want to see that too. So why not? Here's my thing before I get to comics. I'm just gonna small rant this. You are literally sitting on two possible company-saving, revenue-generating movies that you're sitting in a vault somewhere that you don't want to see the light of day. Why?
Right. You have Looney Tunes. It's like Muppets. No matter what generation you release it on, it's going to pull something in. It's Looney Tunes.
Right. And this thing about it, and Batgirl, literally, Brendan Fraser as Firefly. And we've never seen an adaptation of Firefly outside the animated series. Correct me if I'm wrong. Outside of Arkham.
And everybody was there for that.
Yeah.
And Keaton showing up.
Yeah.
That's and they were just like, okay, let's see what this time's about. But Warner Brothers does.
And also Coyote versus Acme. That is an original idea that literally we've always wondered about Wile E. Coyote and this man's unlimited credit account with Acme for all the stuff that he's bought over the years.
Let's face it,
want to see
Wile E. Coyote's fiction with Acme is everyone's a fiction with a certain superstore.
Yeah.
That's across the country.
But still, it's something we want to watch. It's like, why is that you're sitting on two gems of movies for what other reason outside of just being petty? It's like the Mr. Burns of Warner Brothers. But
we're gonna lose money off of Acme versus Wiley versus. You're gonna lose money.
It just doesn't add up.
It just goes to show you that whoever's in the boardroom making decisions like this has absolutely no clue on what the fan base and the general public really are itching for. Don't do it because you're trying to beat the competition. Like, okay, we just got done watching a trailer for a new Zelda game.
Yeah.
Look how simple but fun that looks. because what? It works.
That's, again, simple. Really is. But before we do get to our comic book pulls, Joe, because I'm going to put you on the spot, you went to the Star Trek convention here in Nashville, sir, for day one. How was it? Because I'm jealous.
I'm poor.
Hold on, Joe. Question. Here's the second part of that question. Are you regretfully poor or happy poor?
C, both.
I'll allow it.
Oh God! For all those who are wondering,
small town lawyer, but I'll say both.
For all those that are wondering, there is a Star Trek convention here in Nashville, Tennessee. Joe, would you mind again letting people know where it is and how long it's going on?
It's Murfreesboro. It's all week over at the NBC Suites, directly off of 76. It is Creations ST Nashville. We have a good chunk of the cast from Discovery, a good chunk of the cast from Strange New Worlds, and a good chunk of the cast from Lower Decks. I got to speak to Doug Jones. I got to speak to, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, David Adjula. The guy who plays Booker.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Adjula's right.
I've gotten to talk to Gabrielle. I don't remember her last name. The lady that plays Talin from Lower Decks. I got a photo op with the entire group for Lower Decks, which means Tawny Newsome, Beckett Mariner's mom, Eugene Candido, who is Rutherford and Talin. I'll be getting that on Tuesday. That was expensive, but worth it.
That's
that both comes into play, Joe.
Yeah.
Yes. New shirt, new uniform. Some autographs. No, it's a really, really fun time. Sat in on all the panels. Got to ask questions. Manifested a Star Trek character that will never happen, but Talin's pet, because all emotionally dry characters have pets. All of them are mostly cats. So Talin's got a desert cat, a Salat named Tamerk now because of me.
Nice.
Got to ask, like I said, Doug Jones. Because season 3 you were the captain, was it easier on you or more stressful for you? It's like, well, I got to sit down more. For Doug Jones, who's almost like 6'7" or something like that, he's like, for me, that's a blessing. But then at the same time, I was also one of the center point characters, and that makes me nervous.
Good Lord, 6'7". That man, shadow.
I mean, that man is just a walking scarecrow.
Still, damn, that's a big dude.
But no, fun time to talk about. It's a very small convention. We also got to learn some space stuff, like how the J West space telescope that is positioned 1 million miles out of orbit is a better telescope than the Hubble, and its findings and everything like that by astronomers. I was not able to attend some of the later night stuff, like the Trek karaoke or Music with Anthony Rapp, original Mark from Brent, also Stamets from Discovery. I wasn't able to be at the Rat Pack stuff, but you know what? That's fine. I'm good. I'm okay with that.
Cool. Well, I wish I could go, but responsibilities, and I'm not complaining. Zuri's right beside me asleep. That's why I keep looking over my shoulder to make sure she's still.
You should have asked. I had a half off code.
No, I couldn't go. I'm like I said, got my hands full with my daughter, so I couldn't go if I wanted to. But Joe, I'm glad you definitely did have fun there. But we're gonna go ahead and go into our comic book pulls. Usually Joe has this, but because Joe was at the Star Trek convention, I decided to take the reins on this one with picks out. Before I do get to those picks, guys, I do want to always shout out Rick's Comic City. Again, Nashville's #1 place for comic books for the last 7 years. Comics, mangas, collector's items, you name it, they have it. 2 locations, Nashville and Clarksville, Tennessee. Please check them out. Let them know the guys at Get Bit sent you. It doesn't get you any discounts, but you see our mugs and their televisions. They show us love, so we show them love. So definitely, if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, support Rick's Comic City. If you are not in the Middle Tennessee area, guys, support your local libraries. Support your local comic book stores. I get it. Barnes & Noble is cool. Starbucks is cool. But you're not just going because it's there. You're going for the experience. Everybody here on this panel can tell you going to a comic book store is not just going to go get our weekly pulls, to go get our animes, figurines, things of that nature. It is an experience. And depending on who you run into, you may have to comic book check some people. Chris can tell you that. Especially him being the overall authority on Black Panther, and of course Joe. If anybody came with a Thunderbolts question, or like Joe had to deal with earlier with someone that didn't think he could name 10 African American superheroes that did not have electricity as powers, and sat there and named 20, it just goes to show you.
I love when that question comes up. I'm like, seriously? Okay, hold on. You want to say that?
Oh yeah. Joe sat there and just said Marvel
Well,
or
I mean,
DC.
I just thought I'd ask him, do you want 10 total, or do you want 10 DC and 10 Marvel?
Yeah. Joe was at the ready. This is why I always love whenever someone asks Joe a comic book question, because it always comes back to haunt them.
I don't weren't doing it to be a jerk either.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't do it to be pretentious or jerk or anything. It's just you ask, so we're gonna tell you, and we're
I mean, it's not
No,
being
they were
petty.
asking me like an honest question, because they were like, I'm having a really hard time with this. Can you name 10? It's like, do you want 10 DC and 10 Marvel, or just 10 period?
But you gave it to them, which again is always nice. But no, again, guys, support your local comic book stores, support your local libraries. You will definitely miss them when they're gone. So my pulls, please do not judge me just because I kind of went on a rabbit hole of sorts. So again, guys, just give me the names, the titles. I highly encourage you to definitely go out and seek them, because again, these are great stories. Transformers issue number 12. Joe has been following this, and I'm just keeping up with it. Again, this has been a great series by Image Comics. Not going too much into this one because it's more of a pivotal issue, but I will highly recommend to read it. Again, outside this and Void Rivals. It's hit or miss sometimes, but I do like this current lineup. So I will definitely highly recommend that if you don't already have that in your pull list. And yes, Joe, you're going to hate me for this, but I had to. DC versus Vampires World War V issue. I think this was issue number 2. Again.
Oh, no, that's fine. I know what happens, Alfred.
The picture alone says a lot, and again, I know me and Joe, when it comes to vampires, we just got off a Marvel Blood Hunt, still covering Spider-Man Miles Morales because he's still a vampire, and it's a whole other story in itself. But this is also a good one as well, because this is just DC's, I guess it's October run of vampires. Not gonna spoil it, but just and also Sky Boom is what I meant to say about Transformers. Thank you, Joe. But I'm not going to spoil this one just because, well, the picture alone that you're seeing there, Wonder Woman and Alfred, says 1,000 words. But again, read it. You will be surprised. The next one I have, guys, again, I know Wolverine, Deadpool. This one just recently came out. Wolverine issue 1. Again, just basically restarting from the Krakoa series, from the fall of Krakoa, which again, it's amazing. The Krakoa arc was just a beautiful story, and this is just basically telling Wolverine's standalone story from that. I'm sorry, Chris. What you say?
That was Chef's kiss. Oh, the Krakoa arrow was something amazing.
Whatever you just said, Chris, it sounded muffled.
Yeah, you're like super muffled, my dude.
Yeah, whatever you said, it all came out like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Wait a second. Oh, it switched over. Okay. It switched over by itself.
Yeah, because you kind of come in like Charlie Brown's teacher. All I heard was womp, 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 womp. Oh, now we can hear anything.
No, I said I'll be back.
Okay. What were you saying? What were you saying about the Krakoan age? Oh.
He said he'll be back. He's
still be back. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Because I just saw him drop out. All right, try that, Chris.
No, I'm trying to switch my default.
Oh, you're clear now?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I mean, I can hear you loud. I can hear you clear as a bell now.
Technology.
Yeah. But what were you saying? What were you saying about the Krakoan age, Chris?
I was saying that the Krakoan age was a thing of beauty. It was chef's kiss.
That it definitely was. But
True.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just agreeing. It was, and I think we're holding that. I think our standards have been raised too much, and now some of these X books kind of seem lacking as a result of them. Even though a lot of them are just fine. Like Exceptional X-Men is just New Generation X, which is really, really good for a lot of people.
True. I mean, I wasn't a fan of the other X-Men, not the Uncanny, but what did we say last week? What was that X-Men? One led by Emma Frost. Yeah, Exceptional X-Men.
Yeah, that's Generation X.
Yeah, that's Generation X. So not my cup of tea, but I know it's gonna be somebody else's cup of tea. But yeah, Wolverine issue 1 definitely would recommend that, just because it's definitely falling past the Kronian arc. Would definitely give that a shot. Uncanny X-Men issue number 2. Now this X-Men I can get behind, just because I like the story following this one. But again, not gonna go into many spoilers, because what they're basically doing is you're getting multiple post-Krokonian stories. Some of them are lining up, and some of them are just standing out on their own. This one is gonna be an out on their own line. So
you know what this kind of reminds me of?
What's that?
New Mutants.
Yeah, and you're a little bit more. You are so far right that you don't. Have you read this one yet, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay, then you already know. Never mind. So you're as close. You realize you're 100% on the ball. But yeah, would recommend this one as well if you hadn't had a chance to read that. Black Panther, Ultimate Black Panther. I think this is issue 5. Hang on a second. My list is gone. Yeah, sorry. Issue number 8, which again, I apologize. I should have that in front of me. This has been, I mean, I know for Ultimate Stories, Ultimate Spider-Man is great. I gotta go check on Ultimate X-Men. I don't know whatever happened to that storyline. But
so I've been reading Ultimate X-Men. This is gonna be Ultimate X-Men is gonna be one of those things where you need to read it like a manga and just wait for the art to finish and read it as a trade.
Gotcha. Okay, that would explain that. But again, if you haven't been keeping up with the podcast, we've been keeping up with Ultimate Spider-Man, which has been great. Ultimate Black Panther is a really, really good story, especially what they're doing. Again, as you can see right there, obviously that's Khonshu. It's a whole story itself. However, the twist in this one is the relationship between two characters. I leave it at that, because some people are a little bit angry about it. Some people are like, that makes sense. But again, Ultimate Black Panther would recommend that as well. My last 2 DC ones, again, following Absolute Power. This is Green Lantern issue number 15, where, as you can see, Hal Jordan and Waller's weapon stash. That alone, again, if you hadn't had a chance to read it, I highly recommend that you do. It does tie in with Absolute Power. Absolute Power has actually been great so far.
I was going to say, Absolute Power has been really good.
Yeah, it has been surprisingly good. Say what you gonna say, Joe?
I have a complaint about this one, and it's not at the character; it's a why. Because in this backup, we are finishing out John Stewart's story, I believe.
Yeah, we are.
And they've given John another power upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we continuing to power up John? At this point, he's absurdly powerful. If he already has Source World power.
Yeah.
He has Source World power to where he has literally resurrected his dead little sister.
Yeah.
And now he has the
Dark Star.
I think he may still have the ultraviolet ring somewhere from when he was an ultraviolet lantern at some point. And now he's got the Dark Star ring from another universe, which is just basically ultraviolet lanterns of another world. Like, what more do they need to give John to, like, I don't understand why they keep giving them all these absurd powers.
The only thing I can think of is unless he's about to become a villain.
Let's not do that.
And that's the only
because we did that with Hal. We did that with Hal, so let's not do that with John.
Right. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, if that gives us a new lantern that makes Hal Jordan go away, I'm all for it. But I will never not be petty about this.
We know. We know. But no, it's the issue itself is good. But what are you gonna say, Joe?
I said the issue itself is fine. I like everything about it. I like that we see what one of the Amazos ends up as. I'm all for what happens in this book. It's just the John Stewart story. Like, I don't understand what they're doing with him, because at this point, it just seems like John can just roll in and end this.
True.
With as much power as he wields right now, he can just roll into the absolute power event and just steamroll everything.
True. But we'll definitely see. But also to round this out, guys, Absolute Power Task Force 7, issue 6 of 7. Now, again, this is the Amazos, as Joe pointed out, and we've been pointing out about Absolute Power. The Amazos robots have been just siphoning the powers of DC heroes, and I almost hit on this one is an Amazo has invaded Themyscira. And surprisingly enough, I'm going to leave it at that. Just because, again, this is them fight, as you can see right there. And again, if you don't know the Absolute Power story, it is, if you ever thought Failsafe, a Brainiac Queen, and Amanda Waller were all in the same room and yet wiped out almost half of the DC force at this point, still a great story. But again, with this one, would recommend this as well, just to keep up with the story, as it does explain where Steve Trevor is the entire time, as well as Wonder Woman and Damian. But also a highly recommended book as well. But that's pretty much the round out as far as the pulls tonight. Again, I stress this very heavily, guys. If you can go out and support, please go out and support. Please go buy issues. Please go to your comic book stores, because, again, your patronage keeps them open. At the same time, even though we did cover a handful of stories, there's still more out there, especially Avengers Twilight. I was going to bring that up because Joe brought that to my attention about Avengers Twilight. I finally read all 7 issues. It's worth reading. Chris, if you ain't had a chance to read it, I highly recommend Avengers Twilight, because
I have it like literally physically in front of me, but I got a stack that I'm going through. So,
and not Chips Zdarsky, that is Avengers Twilight. The new Avengers book by Steve Orlando dropped today too.
Yep, I haven't had a chance to read it.
Week. That is actually really worth reading.
Cool. So that's probably gonna be one we're gonna add to the list next week. But yeah. But aside from that, guys, as we are pretty much going to wrap it up this evening, I usually want to start with I usually start with Tafari, because now I realize that his father is a Kraven the Hunter fan, and, well, you got to go break that bad news to him. I think I'm going to start with the captain. So, Captain, you want to let people know where they can find you, sir?
You can go to @BlurredSeyeView on IG. You can check us out Tuesdays and Thursdays on YouTube, Twitch, and IG at 8 p.m. Eastern, Tuesdays and Thursdays, all the time. We just started the new season. We're 2 episodes in. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast. And I'm going to finish my Starship.
Yeah, I still got my Dark Falcon. I hadn't started on mine yet.
Oh, that one, I'm waiting for that one. I'm just waiting on a good day.
Oh, I have it literally in a box right beside me. It's just the fact that a 1-month-old baby girl is about to wake up. But anyway, Tafari, well, let people know where they can find you, sir. What you doing?
So I'm here on all platforms, especially on YouTube. I post usually on Mondays to make them a little less terrible. Just did a video about the 20th anniversary for Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, which the guy who plays Cookie actually reached out to me, so he was very appreciative for that. Shout out to Daniel Curtis Lee. Also doing my rewatch of X-Men Evolution. I am on the next week. I will be doing the second half of season 3, so I am almost done with that show completely. And then I'm working on skits for Sparking Zero, Marvel vs. Capcom. And then as far as Blurred's Eye View, I do the editing. We have a lot of interviews we have done from all the conventions we've been to. So I actually dropped a little tidbit today about who is the better artist and storyteller between Frank Miller and Alan Moore, which was an interesting conversation. So feel free to check that out.
Nice. Cool. And as you can see, I got my hands full. Joe, I know you're going to the convention, sir. I know you're staying more going to the Star Trek convention, sir, but you want to let people know what you're doing, where they can find you, sir?
Are we not zooming in on me?
Oh, you want to zoom in?
You went into dad mode and forgot how to function.
I'm handling different things. I apologize.
You could find most of my work over on the YouTube channel that shares this name here, Show Guy Joe. I team up with Tafari and we review and watch Ultraman. We actually had a really nice episode where the acting was leaps and bounds better than usual, and we had 2 classic monsters fights. Other than that, streaming at some point. I want to see if anybody wants to like co-op campaign the Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 with me, and that's an option. Because I don't know anything going on in that world, but I'll play the game. Seems fun.
It is fun.
Okay, so that means it'll be Will that'll have to co-op campaign with me.
Oh yeah, when I got time, I actually have Space Marine 2. It really is fun. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Other than that, no, I'm just I'm around. I'm making stuff. I'm on Raindrops with Shadow. We did Power Ranger Theories last night, which will come up to some point. Which some of these theories are 2 to 3 years old and easily debunkable, and some of them were just like, "What in God's name is this dude talking about? Skip this theory." Especially that Shadow Ranger being Billy. I'm just like, so you're telling me Billy as an adult is going to be hitting on a teenage girl because of that will they, won't they romance with Cassie and the Shadow Ranger? I don't think so.
That's interesting. All right.
So yeah. So I'm just doing a bunch of stuff. So Wednesday's Ultraman. Thursdays Shadow Ops or Power Rangers Ops, and Fridays here. Mondays and Tuesdays, I have no sleep. I'll fall asleep on the couch.
Damn.
Play Star Wars Outlaws.
Sleep sounds wonderful. Let me know how it feels like. Well, all right, cool. Well, with that being said, I guess I'm up. So before I do my spill, shameless plugging as usual. Definitely check out blurredstation.com, guys. I keep saying this. I've said it. Chris has said it. Tafari has said it. Many of our cohorts have said it. It is the vehicle, the table that we've always wanted because our viewership goes to places like Tubi, goes to places like Hulu, Amazon Prime. And honestly, guys, our viewership has built those networks. So why not build one of our own? And Blur Station will definitely do it. $10.99 a month to view Blur Station, guys. If you do want to join, please the Join Now button. Select the Blur's Eye View Affinity membership. Select any of the members there. Whether it's Chris Fury, whether it's Tafari TV, Black Spartan, or any of the many members there, select one. We would all appreciate it. $10.99 a month. After 36 months, guys, you will have the ability to own a piece of Blur Station. A lot easier to own a piece of any other media outside of Amazon or Netflix. Trust me, I've tried. I've seen the stock prices. Outside of that, guys, if you are a content creator that wants to also have your content seen on Blur Station, you have to join as a member first. Once you join as a member, you'll be able to speak to people behind the curtain, and if a deal is made, then your content will be shown there. Content that you will own. The only thing about it is a piece of distribution will be going back to Blur Station. Honestly, that's the best deal you're going to get. But definitely check out blurrstation.com. Also, shout out to alwayspressrecord.com, APR TV, to where you can find them online on smart devices, on Roku. You can see shows like our show that's currently playing right now, Blurred's Eye View currently playing between Tuesdays and Thursdays on the interwebs, and other shows as well, but definitely check them out. Again, another media to where our ownership needs to go to make it build and grow. Because why? Because Tubi has no love for us. Yes, I said it. Has no love. And now getting to me, guys, I apologize because my daughter decided to wake up. Well, now she went back to sleep. Anyway, Black _Spartan 615 is where you can find me on the interwebs, guys. I usually do reviews on everything, including gym stuff. At the same time, guys, you can also find me along with Tafari and Chris on Blurred's Eye View every Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube and on Facebook, and eventually our After Dark channel on Patreon. Once we get a few members on board, they know who they are. That's gonna come back to haunt me. That also being said, guys, check out blurredeyeview.org, the website, because a lot of us are writers there, myself included. They actually handle wrestling. Also, a link at the bottom, guys. I'll just make that link a little bit bigger. If you copy and paste that link into your browser, take you our link tree. That's the YouTube and Facebook groups for all our podcasts. How the Frack We Got Here, and of course, Get Bit podcast. How the Frack We Got Here is still going strong every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Of course, Get Bit, as you see now tonight, usually 8:30-ish until we end. But everything can be found on places wherever you get your podcast from, whether it's Spotify, whether it's Google Play, things of that nature. Like, share, subscribe. As a good friend of ours, Reverend Navy, once said, a like, share, and a follow costs nothing, but means everything. Also, shout out to Tafari TV as the 3 con videos are going strong. How to plan for a con, how to survive a con, and what to do after a con. I highly recommend those, guys, because a couple of the key pieces of wisdom are the same things that I say about going to a con. Simply put, respect the cosplayer. Cosplay is not consent. Please treat these people like human beings, because they are. Treat them nice, they'll treat you nice. You treat them like a dick, they usually get a guy like me and throw you out. And I like to see how far I can toss people. Just saying. At the same time, guys, cosplay is for everybody, regardless of your height, weight, preference, or whatnot. You can cosplay as anything you want, as you're not like harming anybody or showing yourself indecently. The only rule that we have is don't do blackface. Don't want your ass kicked in the con? Don't do blackface. That very simple. Number 2, hygiene is important, guys. Please, clean clothes, deodorant, toothpaste, mouthwash. Even deodorant doesn't work. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Nobody wants your funk to enter a room before you do. So again, guys, hygiene is everything, especially with COVID and everything else going around. I cannot stress this enough. If you are clean, you are being safe. If you are being nasty, well, you're just a danger to others. And honestly, that's not cool. And number 3 is the same rule that I have for myself as I have for everybody else, guys, when it comes to these cons, and also just for being a person in general. Be nice, be kind, talk and share your fandoms. Don't be a dick, and we'll all be cool. But with that being said, guys, let's wrap this up. We'll be back here, same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel, with news of the week. If the Switch 2 ever does get announced, I guess we'll talk about that, along with other things and our usual comp pool of the week. But as we wrap this up, fellas, anything else, guys, you want to say before we call tonight?
Don't buy the damn PS5 Pro. Do not enable Sony.
Yeah. Spend your $700 on building your own PC. I'm sorry, Chris, what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, yeah, don't do that, but do the PC thing, yes. 2024, you need to go to HR immediately. 24 hours is just way too many people that lost in 24 hours. So we need to see you at HR. We need to have this a frank discussion. So, yeah. We got 3 more months.
Right.
Please go vote. Please go vote. When the time comes, please figure out how to register to vote.
Vote.org.
We will not. We are not taking. We're not gonna. I don't know if we're taking political stances on the show or not, but I'm just saying, right now, please go vote. Please find out if you don't know how to vote. Please go register to vote. Please find a way. Just ask around. Look on the internet. Find there are many resources.
Yeah, not to cut you off, Joe, but vote.org is literally the easiest way. It's the easiest website out there to check your registration. It is the easiest web. If you also check your registration, if you're not registered, it takes you less than a minute to actually register on that website. It'll also help you with early voting and where to go. Again, please get registered, know where to go, know what to bring. We all have a duty come this November, so please definitely do it. But with that being said, guys, thank you all for watching, for liking, letting you know this is live.
Not even November. We have a duty at the end of October with early voting.
That too. Just you know what? just at the end of the year, we have an obligation because I don't need to see Idiocracy the sequel. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah,
but
it's knocking on the door that close. Good Lord.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't need to see President Mountain Dew Camacho. That I don't need to. The first time was enough. But with that being said, people,
Trevor Noah is not part of the Daily Show anymore. It can only be so funny for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying. But with that being said, guys, we're definitely going to call it a night. Thank you all for watching. I've been Will. He's been Tafari. That's been Chris. He's been Joe. This has been the Give It Podcast for tonight, guys. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Hopefully we won't have an Idiocracy sequel. Have a good night, guys. Peace.